So that was our children's session. And children, we really hope that you enjoyed this evening. And do not worry, we are back again tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and at 3 o'clock there will be loads more from these guys. So make sure that you are tuned in tomorrow morning bright and early with your breakfast on the table.
Hello, Katie. Hello, One Event. It's so good to be with you. My name is Dan, and I'm one of the team hosts for the whole of One Event 2020. We are believing for a phenomenal time. Katie, what a great start. How good for the kids team?
Oh, absolutely fantastic.
We're going to be finding out loads from Youth Revival, but we are believing and expectant for God to do some amazing things over the weekend. And thank you for joining us. We've got so much happening throughout the whole weekend. Where You Are 2020. And how can people connect with us today, Katie?
Yeah, so there's loads of ways to connect. So make sure you're checking us out on our website, which is one-event.org.uk/live. Go onto YouTube, you can join in with the chat. And actually, we're just going to tell you a little bit of the comments that have been coming through on the chat already. So we've had loads of people talking, and let's have a look. So we've got Andrew Clark. Andrew Clark, you are now famous. It says you've got food on the table, you've got bottles open and family over for the weekend. So that's cool. The grandkids are primed and pumped. So let's rock and roll for the Lord, he says.
Oh, I love that stuff. And do keep your comments flowing like milk and honey. We've got a legend, Paul Bedford, in the house. He's missing wearing his wellies. Yes, if you're up here, I'm sure we're going to be welcomed by our senior pastors, network leaders, Stuart and Irene, in a minute, but they're going to tell you about the weather. I imagine a lot of people have got their wellies on today. I'm hearing tents are up in people's back gardens and all sorts. Please stay in your tents and brave out the weather. Who else have we got, Katie?
Yeah, come on. So we've got Poppy and Rupert from North Devon, who have been watching the kids' session while eating pizza. Good call, guys. That sounds like a grand idea. And we've got people having an indoor barbecue. An indoor barbecue? That sounds dangerous to me. But there we go. Homemade M&M cheesecake. Watching in Harlow. Hello, homemade M&M cheesecake. There's loads going on.
It is so good to connect. I can imagine so many things happening in people's houses, but it is One Event 2020, and we're delighted to be joined by our network leaders, the wonderful Pastors Stuart and Irene Bell. I can see the virtual clap. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing good. I mean, this is a strange year, isn't it? This is the 39th year that Irene and I have been leading this, so it's really quite something. But we're excited about this year. And we actually gave the intercessors a year off this year because normally they pray big time so that, we get some good weather, and so you can see the results. It's windy, it's raining, but we're happy.
Every year, Stuart and Ari get into a Michael Fish scenario where we get weather commentary. But you're right, because the prayers have been prayed that we have rain so that everyone connects with us over the weekend.
And so it's Stuart's fault, in fact, that it is raining. And everybody whose tents are in their garden are not going to use them.
Well, last year, of course, it was 30 degrees, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The whole of the weekend, no rain. So, you need the change, don't you? The gardens need it.
Exactly. The gardens need watering. England needs to look green. It's the way it needs to be.
Yeah, particularly in Lincolnshire fields. So, guys, tell us about your vision, how you're feeling about this year. Obviously, it's going to look different, but I'm sure you're expectant of all that God's going to do.
Well, I think that some people may think this is just a holding year. A lot of the big festivals have actually been cancelled, but, we're part of ground level. Which means that we're here, but this isn't a holding operation. We actually think our reach could go further this year than were we live. So I'm really excited about it because, we can push forward with our vision. It's a vision for the church. It's a vision for our world. We want to see society changed. We want to see the good news of Jesus across our world. And what better time than this for the church to shine? It's been a hard time, hasn't it, for many, many people. And that's why this weekend, though it may be raining outside, in the comfort of our homes, we can thank God for his presence, for his love, for his grace over our lives. And we can together connect and celebrate the great things that God's doing. And I think for Irene and myself, it's a real opportunity again to think about the whole of the family. You very much, don't you, Irene, just love to see the age ranges come together.
Yeah, I love it that it's family. And I love it that every year people say, I've never been before, I didn't know it existed. And then others who make the comments like, this is absolutely amazing. I don't know of anything like this anywhere else where the whole family can be together. And it's absolutely brilliant. I thought doing this here is amazing, that we're actually on the showground, but I did think I'd have a year off from the Weather Watch because, you know, what is there to worry about? We're in a building, but actually the Weather Watcher has been as bad as ever. But it's saying things like, oh, imagine if we were all out there now. Oh, imagine what it would be like. What about the tents? So I think it's probably been almost as bad as normal.
I'm just an ordinary man, Irene. But ordinary people, the Bible says, can do extraordinary things.
Well, that is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Good job, I say.
I love what you touched on about the family, because I think for everyone watching out there, every year it's a real highlight of our year. I know that your calendar operates, doesn't it? One event and then Christmas. But for the family, we want families to continue to connect with our great kids program, with the youth program. There's just so much happening. What are you particularly looking forward to, Irene, this weekend?
Well, I'm looking forward to listening to the big top speakers, but also the fact that we're going to have live chats with them after. So they're recorded, but they're going to be able to do that. And obviously, for Tony Miller in Oklahoma, 6-hour time difference, but that's great because they're behind us. So we can chat to him afterwards live, which I think is really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first time that actually we're able to open it up and allow anybody to come in on the chat. So obviously when people are watching on YouTube, they can come in, they can actually ask questions that we can then put forward to Tony. So, you know, guys, if you're watching, make sure you are on the chat, send in your questions, because this is a one-off opportunity in 39 years that we can actually speak to the speaker and ask them some questions and really get behind what they were feeling, what they were thinking in their word. So yeah, really, really good.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic that there's no problem with anybody anywhere in the world actually technically connecting. I mean, we have geographical limitations most year, don't we? And it takes some travelling. And the other good thing is the event is absolutely free, so people can connect. And of course, we'll want people to give into our missions this year, won't we? And we've got lots of things to support and partners that we want to bless. But I'm really excited that it's a lot more open this year for visitors, for people who've perhaps never connected with us before, perhaps people who are a bit inquisitive about this Christian stuff. I'm hoping there'll be people that perhaps don't go to church, or you've just heard little reports about the stuff the church does. I hope we'll have all kinds of different people connecting, and maybe from all over the world.
Yeah, like you say, it's almost like times of adversity bring opportunity, don't they? And even now, you know, as people are sitting in their living rooms or in their bedrooms watching this, through a click of the button, you can invite somebody to come and join in, and actually they can join now in this moment. You can suddenly think, oh, I forgot to invite one of my friends, but you can do it now. And that's never have we had that opportunity.
An amazing thing with One Event is every year people come to faith in Jesus Christ, and that's what we're about as a network, isn't it? That is one of the highlights.
Well, I meet people all the time when I travel. You know, when you've been around a while, and we're 39 years on, I bump into people all the time who came to faith through what was Grapevine and now One Event. In fact, I had an interview this week with UCB, and the interviewer said, you know, I became a Christian at Grapevine when I was in the kids' work. And that makes it worthwhile to me. In fact, I went to an Anglican leaders gathering 2 years ago, and 8 people, leaders of churches, Anglican churches, came and said either they made a first-time decision to follow Jesus at Grapevine, One Event, or they were baptised in the Spirit at the event. That's why we do it, isn't it?
It's incredible, isn't it? Just the number of stories. And I'm sure we'll hear more stories throughout the weekend. We're excited to hear more stories. But I am equally as excited to introduce you guys to a little challenge that we have for you. So we've got something in store. We've been planning it for a while. So I'd like you to just walk with me. Just follow me.
We're a bit nervous about this.
Certainly am. I'm going to give you
I thought
this.
Stuart was going to be talking about the authentic. So for all our authentic people out there, we are going to bring back the boy band. And I
come and
can't believe that
stand
wasn't one of
next to
Stuart's
me here.
highlights. But we've got so much going on. Please do connect with us. And we look forward to hearing all your comments. Over to Katie.
So here we are in our challenge space with the wonderful Stuart and Irene. So guys, I'm going to introduce you to our challenge. And this is a challenge that is going to be available for many people over the weekend. We have our leaderboard behind you and everybody's times are going to go up on the leaderboard. So your challenge, guys, is to get this tent here into its case, which is just behind you, and we are going to time you in doing this. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes putting tents up and down can be a little bit tense. It can cause a few family arguments. Maybe many people have found this over the years, but we'd love to just see how you get on. So I'm going to give you a count in, and then you can go as fast as you can. Are you ready?
Yes.
No.
Are we ready?
Yeah, I probably need some grandchildren to help me. They would do it quick.
Well, do you camp at one event? I mean,
Have done.
in the past, you'll be
Yes.
well experienced then. Right, are we ready?
Oh, we're ready.
We are. Okay, so 3, 2, 1,
Absolutely.
go. Go for it. Go for it, guys. Okay, so as Stuart and Irene are completing this challenge, we have very interesting time ahead. So, firstly, we are going to introduce you to our studio and a few more of our team. So I'm going to pass over to Abby, who is in our food court.
Thank you very much, Katie. This is amazing to watch. Just like to put that out there. It's amazing. Yes, I am very lucky to be introducing you to our coffee court. This is where we're going to be able to introduce you to some of our speakers that we have over the weekend, being able to have a chill and a chat, and if we're lucky enough, a delicious 7 Districts coffee as well. I'm going to be passing you over to Dan on the music stage.
Hello, One Event. Yes, we are on the music stage where you're going to be hearing some phenomenal music performance throughout the weekend. I don't know why I've got this gig. I'm the most unmusical bloke that you can ever imagine. But we got some pros, some great entertainment, some great testimonies and some great music live coming from this stage. So check it out. Now I'm going to throw you over to the amazing Lois from the kids stage who's going to introduce that bit.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dan. Hello, everybody. My name is Lois, and I am here in the Kids Zone. We have a fantastic team who have prepared some amazing activities for you, and you'll also be working through your packs from this stage. Doesn't it look amazing? Now, my friends, I've got one more thing to show you in our studio. If you'd like to follow me. Here we have our main stage, and from this point, we will have some fantastic big top sessions, including worship, our amazing speakers. We are in for a fantastic God-filled, faith-filled weekend. And I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Abby, how can we get connected in?
Absolutely, yeah. There's so many ways we can connect this weekend. We're going to be able to watch on the One Event website, which is one-event.org.uk/live. That's where you can watch it, just like most of you probably are now online, and you can also interact on there as well. You can come and find us on YouTube if you search Ground Level Network. That's going to be a really interactive place on the chat. That's where we can find out about all the things that you've been doing. We've already read some comments from there as well so far. You can come and watch us on Facebook. You can host a watch party with your friends as well, so you can watch it all together just like you would be if you were here. And you can use the numbers and emails to make sure you can send in your texts, your stories and testimonies from across the weekend as well.
So, you know, here at One Event, we really believe in the power of prayer. And every year we really make sure that we have ministry teams available to pray with people. And this year is absolutely no different. So if you would like prayer, it is available at any point throughout the weekend. All you need to go is go to our website, which is one-event.org.uk/live. And on there, you will be able to see a very big button that says prayer. So you can go on there and you can ask for prayer, and it will be available to people for 30 minutes after each Big Top session, where you can actually go on and join a virtual prayer room this year. So there will be 2 people that come on and offer to pray with you about anything, and you can also text in at any point and ask for prayer. So it is always available, and we believe that God will really move through that ability.
Hey, want to introduce myself. My name's Nathan, and along with an incredible team, we were leading the youth revival content that happened for the last 24 hours from Thursday at 2 p.m. till Friday at 2 p.m. I'm here with one of our incredible youth team, Rachel, and we had a good 24 hours.
It was amazing. Yeah, really good. Really good. Yeah.
What would be some of your highlights?
Now this is hard. I'm not good at making decisions and picking one, but I'd give a few. So my highlight would be, I loved Nathan Blood, who did the worship mashup in space. That was so much fun. I don't know how he did it, coming up with all those songs one after the other.
No,
that's a big talent.
Amazing.
It was amazing.
It
but
was.
I think my biggest highlight would be that it still felt, even though we were online, like we were all together in the room, like Ian through the messages, in the comments, people encouraging. Even with worship as well, we went crazy in here, and I know people at home will have been too. So yeah, that would be my ultimate highlight, I would say.
Not the alpacas.
I mean, I did like the alpacas, but it was cold, so I didn't want to go outside.
It was cold.
It was freezing.
It was cold, but the alpacas were a lot of fun.
They were a lot of fun.
Hey, if you tuned into Youth Revival, why don't you put your highlights in the comments?
Yeah.
And it was just great that we got to gather as young people, and we got to be together. It was such a powerful time together. And as you can see behind us, we've got a reel of what went off. We had some 1 minutes of fire from some young people, which were incredible. We had incredible messages, Pete and Laura Talks. Yeah. And if you missed any of those messages, then you can catch up on our YouTube channel, the Ground Level YouTube channel. They're all on there as well. And we had the best 24 hours.
We did. You spoke as well, didn't you?
I did.
It was a great message. Listen to that as well. And the young people as well. We had some young people speak too, right?
Yeah,
they were good.
Yeah, we did. I've got a tenner for you.
Oh, thanks.
But I'm not allowed to give it you in this season. But we had a great time together, and we're believing for 2021 to have a great time as well. And I just loved that we got to gather and do this together. It was so powerful. And I just wanted to share one story just to close out. We had a story of a young guy who made a decision and joined our prayer room after one of the revival experiences, and just got to spend 20 minutes chatting with a youth leader, and just got to talk around the decision he made, and they got to pray with him. And I want to share that story because that's why we do what we do. Yeah. We do that because we're believing for lives transformed, and we're believing for revival to take place in young people's lives. And we're believing 2021 will be an incredible year for youth revival. So we look forward to seeing young people there, your young people there, and we look forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you so much to Nathan, Matt and Nick and all of our Youth Revival team. What an amazing thing it is to impact young people, and we're so grateful for all the efforts that they've put in. It was brilliant. Well, we are here with Pastor Stuart and Irene Bell on the tent challenge. How did you find it, guys?
It was fine.
Irene looks a bit shell-shocked. Can we see the evidence of the tent?
It's just behind. Do you need to see it all?
I would like to see evidence of this. Yes, please.
I feel that as it's a tent and it's waterproof, you don't need to make the effort of putting it all away.
So who was it? Was it Stuart or Irene who was doing this?
This was a joint effort, which is pretty sad, isn't it?
Wait, can I have an adjudicator? Do we see that this is a valid attempt?
It's about a quarter in the thing.
Well, you have set the bar high. I'm just waiting for a time. I believe that we're going to get a time to see how long it took you.
It's not quite finished. It's not quite finished.
A work in progress.
Like us all, isn't that?
Yeah.
You know, I like that. So we're going to have loads of different people throughout the weekend trying to do the tent challenge. All of our guests. I think you've set it pretty high to start with.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon we are. So have we got a time anywhere? I'm waiting for an official time for Stuart and Irene, Pastor Stuart and Irene, to set the scene. Hey, imagine, guys, if we did literally have to set up tents today in this weather.
53 seconds!
We've heard it there. Guys, congratulations. Pastor Stuart and Irene Bell have kicked us off in the tent challenge with 53 seconds.
It's better than I thought.
Was that better than you thought, was it?
Yeah.
Right, let's have a little look. If I can write on here. Here we go. So we're going to have... I hope... Is this showing up, is it? Yeah, I hope so. Stuart and... Yeah, we'll finish off that. 53 seconds is the way forward. And how did you find it?
Oh, it was tricky.
A cinch.
I think you've done a sterling job. And
I just wished I'd paid more attention because I'm sure one of the grandchildren had one of these, and if I'd paid more attention, I would have got it quicker.
Actually, when we'd nearly finished it, we found there are some instructions inside, so we're helping others now.
hide
There
them
are
for the
some
rest.
instructions.
I did give you a clue previous to this. We didn't tell them what the challenge was, but I did say twist and shout. Did you get that?
Yeah.
No. Oh, it's great. Well done. Thank you for setting the bar. All weekend, we are going to be doing a giveaway. We've got the One Big Giveaway, and we've got some fantastic prizes on the One Big Giveaway. They are loads of stuff. You're going to like some of these prizes, okay? All right. We've got all kinds of stuff. They can choose from a garden swing.
Wow.
Would you like the garden swing? So this is a prize for anyone who's connecting, who's commenting, who's liking. We're picking up some of these people. We've got a smoker, a barbecue smoker.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, you doing all of your cooking. That would be really handy for you guys, all right? Next up, we've got a garden seat. Not sure what that is.
Well, we could sit on it in the garden, probably.
Yeah, a recliner, okay. So it's a garden seat recliner. And then fourthly, our last prize over here is the fire pit. Oh, we've had lots of fire pits. That's been a real good lockdown winner, hasn't it, over there for the fire pit. And I have been informed that we have a winner. So our first winner of the One Big Giveaway is the fantastic Heather Cliff. Can we have a virtual clap, everybody in the studio? Heather Cliff is our first winner. Now, Heather, what you need to do as you're connecting, you need to get in touch with us via text, via the website, via YouTube or Facebook, and tell us, you tell us what prize you want, and we will be able to give you. That's pretty good. What a great giveaway.
It's amazing.
So
yeah, it's great.
There's 3 other prizes after Heather has claimed hers, and I think that's going to be fantastic. Well, congratulations, guys. You have done a sterling job. And we are going to now pass over to the amazing Paul Benger, who's going to give us some more information.
So I am joined by the brilliant Paul Benger, who is one of our ground level team. And Paul is just going to spend a bit of time telling us a little bit about ground level so we can get a real good understanding of what it's all about.
Great, yeah, well, we want to say hello, first of all, to everybody that's watching, a massive welcome, and how exciting is it to still be do one event, even though we can't physically be gathered on the showground. I just want to introduce for a minute Ground Level, and Ground Level is a network of over 80 churches that's been established over 40 years. Now, in fact, next year is our 40th year of Grapevine or One event, and so that's exciting. And at Ground Level, we've got a vision, and our vision is to be churches that are advancing the kingdom everywhere. And we believe that everywhere means in everywhere geographically, but also every strata of society and in every area where people are. We want to see God's kingdom come. And we basically do that through doing 3 things. And those 3 things are creating healthy churches, developing great leaders, and equipping God's people. And of course, the One event is perhaps our big thing for equipping God's people. But there's so much that Ground Level does, and people, you'll be hearing about that over the next 24-hour period or so. You'll be hearing so much about what Ground Level does. And so it's my privilege just to introduce Ground Level to you. If you're new, if you've not ever been to One event, or you've never connected with Ground Level before, that's who we are. We're a movement of churches that are advancing the kingdom everywhere.
Yeah, love that. And you know, there might be people who have joined us today who have never even been to One event, who have just connected with us online, and so this is their first experience of Ground Level, and what a great way to experience us. So One event is one area, so just talk us through some of the other kind of areas that are done and provided by Ground Level.
Yeah, well, like we say, creating healthy churches and developing great leaders. So we have leadership training, we have lots of leadership events, we've got a big leadership conference that goes on, monthly leadership gatherings, we have regional connections for leaders to gather into as well. So there's a lot to go on for in terms of leadership training. But of course, as well as that, we have some central things where we support churches through, advice, counselling, all kinds of things that churches might need. We try and provide and be there as a support for them, to care for them, to help them fulfill the thing that God has put on their heart in their locality. Every church is different. Every church's locality is different. And so we just try and support and care and provide the skills that God perhaps has shaped us with to help others.
Love that. And I just love the vision of Ground Level. And, we have so many testimonies, so many stories of lives that have been changed through Ground Level, through One event. And we're actually going to hear a testimony from last year from a wonderful lady called Claire. So let's hear Claire's story.
I was suddenly thrown into a life of disability. I was in a wheelchair. In the summer of 2002, I started to feel quite unwell. Saw lots of GPs, saw consultants, had test after test, and in the end they diagnosed me with something that's very, very rare called transverse myelitis. And what that is it's inflammation of the base of the spinal cord. It fits in with a family of multiple sclerosis, really. And then in January 2005, I was struck down by what they think was meningitis. And I was rushed into hospital, and at this point I was paralysed. The darkest moments of where I was just lay on the hospital bed, unable to move, and not knowing whether that was going to be my future. Thankfully my parents were willing to sacrifice really the whole of their quality of life, and they agreed that I could go and live with them, and they would change something. They would find a way. They said they'd find a way. So I'd been stripped of my house, my job, my friends, my car, everything. That was all things that we take for granted, really. That had all been stripped away, but then it started to be given back to me. I met my husband and given something I never thought I'd have ever. I never thought I'd be married. I never thought that anybody would ever want to take on somebody with a disability. I didn't really see that anyone would ever see through that. I just thought that it would just be a burden. So we never let my disability stop us doing anything. We travel, and we always loved going to One event every August bank holiday, and I'd always go in a wheelchair, and again my poor husband would have to push me around. Some years it was fine, although one year it poured with rain so much it was just like flooded and puddles. Used to go and just really meet with God, and the worship, we loved the worship. The worship was just out of this world. I didn't go to the big top thinking that I was going to be healed. I didn't think that was going to be the night that my life was transformed at all. It was a really hot evening. It had been beautiful weather throughout the whole of the event, and this was on the Monday night now, so it was coming to a sort of an end. And at the end of it, my husband went in for prayer, And this man walked past me, and he said, oh, I can see you're sat in a wheelchair. And then he asked me a really difficult question. And that question was, well, do you think Jesus could heal you? I said, no, probably not. But he said, I want to pray for you. He said, but you've got to do something for me. And at the end of this, he says, you've got to get out your wheelchair. And then at the end of it, he said, you need to get out your chair now. Well, I knew I was not healed. I knew. I'd lived with a disability for 17 years, so I knew I wasn't healed. But then he came back. In the morning, he said, when you get up, leave your sticks behind, stand tall, and you will be healed in Jesus' name. Woke up in the morning, still couldn't walk, and I was holding on to the sink because I couldn't actually stand up without holding on to something or my sticks because I had no balance. And as I was washing, I remembered what the man had said the night before. So I thought, I've got nothing to lose here, let's try. But I did 1 or 2 steps. I had perfect balance. I could jump, which I'd not been able to do, run, I could run, I could do everything. And it was just like really awesome. And it just blew us away. It just completely blew us away.
What an incredible testimony. And you know, one of the things we love about Ground Level, we love about One Event, is that every year so many lives are changed. People come to faith, people physically get healed, like the testimony we've just heard from Claire. People get called into the ministry, decide to serve God with their lives, sometimes full time. And so that is so, so exciting. I want to share with you something else that we do as well every year at One Event, is that we take up an offering for missions to advance the kingdom. I said to you, our vision is to be a movement of churches that advance the kingdom everywhere. And even though we're not physically gathered, we're still going to take an offering over the next 2 days. And I want to tell you exactly what we need that offering for, what we want to put that offering towards. I want to tell you how much we're believing for, because we're really believing that God, through this year's One Event, is going to impact many lives, that we were going to see many people saved, people healed, people called into the ministry, churches refreshed, and churches lifted. So let me tell you about this year's offering. First of all, let me tell you we've got a target, and our target this year and what we're believing for is £100,000. And we believe that if everybody would commit to do something, and even churches, church leaders, that we would get on board and our churches would give, and we will be a generous people, we can actually achieve that goal together whilst we're online today and tomorrow. So come on, let's pull together, let's stand together, let's be God's people together for that. But let me tell you exactly what we want to do with that money. First of all, although this is a free event, it's cost some money to put on the event, and it's cost approximately £25,000. And so we need £25,000 in this offering to actually just be able to bring this event to you for these 4 days. Youth Revival that's happened over the last 2 days, and actually One Event where you are today, £25,000 for that. Then we partner with some great organisations here at Ground Level, and we actually want to give them £25,000. We want to be able to bless them. And, I'll just mention, you'll hear a lot about the people we partner with throughout today and throughout tomorrow. But I just want to mention Battelle, that many of you watching will know. If you're One Event regulars, you'll know Battelle. You'll love seeing them around. We want to bless Battelle again this year. This has been a tough time for many charities and many organisations. We want to be able to bless them over this time. Battelle, Links International, again, you're going to hear from them over today and tomorrow, as well as Battelle. And then The Message. I just mentioned those three, The Message. We have a partnership with The Message, and they're doing some incredible work, and all across our nation and all across different areas, including areas where many of our churches are located. So we want to be able to cover the costs of this event, £25,000. We want to be able to bless those partners, £25,000. And then we also want the mission of Ground Level, which is creating healthy churches, developing great leaders, and equipping God's people, which includes the one event. We need £50,000 to be able for this next year to keep moving that vision forward. So I'm asking, would you join with us? Can we stand together to believe God? If we all do what God tells us to do, if we all respond generously in our heart, I believe we can reach that goal. So be ready to give, or the information will come up. The information is going to be given to you practically. But let's be ready to give. Ask God what he would have us to do. Ask God what he would have our churches to do. And let's step into that together. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so there are a number of ways that we can give over this weekend. So if you head to our website, you will see the donate page from our website, and you'll be able to go onto the donation page, and there are a number of ways. One way that you can give is actually by texting in. So if you text the word one, that's O-N-E, and then a space, followed by the amount you would like to give, and you text that to 70450, and you can give anything up to £20 that way, and there are other ways that you will see on the website that you can give. Now we are actually going to be joined in a very soon by a wonderful man named Tim Robertson.
Yeah.
So Tim is our Compassion sponsor. Compassion are a charity who we sponsor within one event, and we're going to be joined by him in a moment. So Paul, just tell us a little bit about Compassion.
Well, I'm sure Tim's going to fill us in a little bit more about Compassion, but it's a great organisation. We've partnered with them for many years. It's why I didn't mention them, because I knew Tim was coming on. And it's such a joy again that this year they've sponsored this event, but also we're partnering with them to see many lives change. They work with children in all kinds of areas around the world, children in poverty, children who've been abandoned, all kinds of different situations, and they do a fantastic work. In fact, a few years ago, I went with Tim. I was privileged to go to Rwanda with Tim and see their work firsthand, and wow. I was just so moved. I was there for about 7 days, and I just got sold on the whole work that they do, lifting the lives of people in the poorest places.
Incredible. So we have Tim ready to join us. So let's just welcome Tim as he joins us on the screen. Tim, hi.
Hello.
Welcome to One Event 2020.
Fantastic. It's great to be with you today.
Yeah, we love that you've joined us, and we've just been talking a little bit about Compassion, but we would love you to just fill us in, tell us all about your wonderful organisation and what you do for them.
Thank you, Katie. Well, great to be with you guys. Welcome, One Event, and what a great studio, I have to say. It looks really cool. So it's a privilege to be on with you at One Event tonight, and hope you're having a great time. So if you've not heard about Compassion before, then, and many of you have, I know, but Compassion is an international child development organisation, and over its time, 1 million children living in abject poverty have gone through our programme, many lifted out of poverty, their families too, and currently just over 2 million children are registered on over 8,000 projects across 25 nations, across 3 continents. And we love this ministry because it's so close to the heart of God. Jesus said, when you welcome a child in my name, you welcome me. And so we're just thrilled to see what God is doing through the lives of these kids. It's a Christ-centered organisation. It's a child-focused organisation. So we want to do everything that we can to enhance the development of a child living in abject poverty. It's a leadership development. It's a discipleship program. And but also it's church-based as well. So the local church is the hope of the world, and it's God's plan A, and it's through the church that compassion programs are worked out. And, you know, we thank God for incredible staff. All our staff are nationals. They're all local people working with these families, with these communities. So really exciting. Great organisation.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Tim. And even that word compassion is powerful, isn't it? And I love how you fight for justice and how these words kind of justice and compassion are so impactful. So talk us through sort of these words and how you came over them.
Sure. Well, you know, the Greek word for compassion, I don't know quite how to say it, but it's something like splagnizomai, which is a great word to say, splagnizomai. And it really is all about the compassion of Jesus, really, that comes right from deep within. You know, we talk about the passion of Jesus in the run-up to the cross, all that he went through, you know, but when you put that little word com with passion, it means with passion. It means that I'm sharing in the suffering and what Jesus went through. I'm sharing with him in those sufferings. And of course, you know, God is with those who face injustice, and he's passionate about them. And he calls us to suffer with him in these things, you know. And he says, when you reach out in love to these, when you do the things that I ask, you know, in my name, it's as though you're doing it for me. When you reach into the lives of the least of these. And this is what compassion's all about. And I guess, you know, justice, really, if you think about the fact that that justice, that we've all been created in the image of God and the likeness of God. Therefore, you know, we all deserve value and worth and dignity, and then that leads us to accepting that there has to be a standard by which I need to treat other people. Jesus talked then about loving God, you know, with all your heart, soul, strength and mind, but loving your neighbor as yourself. And I guess that means that everything that I want for me and for my family, I should desire for others as well. If I want to be treated with fairness and dealt with justly, then I should desire that for others as well. And so, you know, as you look at what the scripture says, you see God's heart for justice and compassion so strong that he, you know, even when Israel was coming together as a nation, God set up those social structures and rules and you know, ways in which the poor and the stranger and the outsider would be treated by his people. You know, so he said, when you gather your harvest, make sure that you don't gather right to the edges and to the corners, but leave a corner so that they have something as well. And this is about making sure that everybody has something and everybody has enough, and I guess that's the heart of what we do in compassion.
I absolutely love that, Tim. And I'd love to just hear from you. Is there anything that you want to tell so many people that are watching here today that you think would be useful?
Yeah, sure. I think that God wants us, and a little bit later in the program, I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about what One Event and Ground Level churches are doing, you know, with compassion and what's being achieved. And actually tomorrow at lunchtime, you can tune in and you can hear more about our work in Haiti as well. So, you know, I want you to hang around and listen to what we have to say and to share in that. But I think the verse I want to share really is from Micah. It's chapter 6 and verse 8. We know it so well that God says, you know, what does the Lord require of you? But to act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly before your God. And, you know, as I consider that verse, I think I can't really act justly unless I'm walking humbly. I can't do the first part of the verse unless I'm doing the last part of the verse. And to walk humbly means that I need to leave pride behind. I need to recognize the value that there is in everyone else, as I was saying earlier on, that we've all been made in the image and the likeness of God, and that I'm not more worthy, I'm not more valuable or entitled than anyone else, and I therefore have a responsibility. And when I understand that, then I can't treat anybody else in any lower way because of their postcode, because of their colour, because of their condition, because of their circumstances. Everyone deserves that dignity and that sense of justice and compassion and mercy and grace. And if I have been made right by the blood of Jesus and I've been justified by him, that's not just a vertical thing, that is now a horizontal thing. That leads me to make sure that I am living justly in the world today, that I am extending grace to others that has been extended to me. And that's what we're trying to do in Compassion. And our message is to say to people, look, we can't change the world for everybody. You can change it for one, though. You can make a difference in the life of a child who won't have the option of, becoming all that God wants them to be unless somebody steps in, unless someone takes their hand and walks them across the line of poverty, that line or even a lie that says, you're worthless, you're useless, you're rubbish, you'll never amount to anything, you haven't got the resources, this is it, this is how your parents were and your grandparents were, that's it, this is all you're going to be. But actually, when you invest in a child, when you invest in the poor, you take their hand and you lead them across that line. And you give them a hope and a future. And through the resource that you're able to bring of prayer, of letter writing, of sponsorship and gifts, you're able to enable them to have options. You enable them to be able to start having access to the very things that you desire and that you want for your house, And that's how I love others, by as I would love myself, and extending that grace. So, we're going to be with one event over this next, 24 hours and just sharing in different ways. And I trust that God would just touch your heart. There's lots of things. There's an offering that needs to come in for Ground Level. There's other great mission organizations. And so I'm praying that God would touch our heart for the right thing, and that we will be able to give and make a difference in the life of somebody else, and to release others from poverty in Jesus' name.
Thank you so much. We love your passion. We love the anointing that you carry over Compassion. And I'm just going to hand over to Paul, who's just going to talk about a bit of how One Event endorses Compassion as an organisation.
Yeah, and me personally, I would really encourage any individual to get involved, to check out Compassion and get involved in sponsoring children if they can, and also churches. When I mentioned going with Tim actually to Rwanda, and when I came back, I contacted Tim and say, as a church, we'd like to do something. We'd like to set up a project, and we actually ended up supporting 2 projects, and we wanted to do it in Haiti. And I want to say that relationship with the church over the last few years has been fantastic. So we take time every year to support Compassion, advocate for some Compassion, and try to encourage people to sponsor children. But also in this COVID season, which of course no one saw coming, the people that's affected the most are the poorest, and that's included some of the children that we sponsor in Haiti. And Compassion have been absolutely brilliant in the fact that they've been letting us know. So many of the children we sponsor have actually been taken from their homes in this COVID season. Wow. Because there's been threat to their not just to their livelihood but to their safety in this season. And Compassion have taken care of these children, put them in safe places, secret places, and we've been kept informed all the way through. So as a church, we are just so thrilled that we are making a difference in those children's life. Who knows what would have happened in this COVID season had individual people and churches like ours stepped up and to fill that gap. So I endorse Compassion. Churches, have a look at Compassion, you know, starting a project yourself, getting involved, contact him, or individuals have a look at it as well.
Yeah, and wouldn't it be incredible if, as a result of this weekend, we could look after more children and sponsor more children as a gathering? It would just be a fantastic thing for us to be doing. And you know what? Next up, we actually have an interview coming up with Dan Hargreaves and the wonderful Tom Elliott. So Dan, over to you in the challenge area.
Thank you so much, Katie. Yes, we're delighted to be with the phenomenal Tom Elliott for our late night after hours. Tom, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Hello, Dan. I love this place. What an amazing thing.
Well, thank you for joining us so much. Tell us a bit, for those who don't know, who are tuning in live now, tell us a bit about who you are and what you do. And I understand you were meant to be at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
I was, yeah. In fact, I've just got back from Edinburgh. There was no Fringe, and so I didn't do any performances. And so I hired a caravan, hired a golf buggy, and I had a photo with a man dressed up as Bradley Bear. But to be honest, Dan, 2020, as far as that goes, that was a win. So Edinburgh Fringe, hey.
Brilliant. So what do you do? What does your life look like on a daily basis?
Well, just to clarify, for those thinking he looks like the kid from Home Alone, that's not me, right? He turned 40 this week. Did you know that?
Really?
But I'm a comedy magician, so I travel all over the country in churches, in comedy clubs, in some little studio theatres, doing comedy and magic blended together.
And you've come to Lincoln a couple of times. You've been absolutely brilliant. Is this your first time at the One event?
No, second, I believe.
Yes.
I'm not sure when it was, but it was a few years ago now, but my second time.
Brilliant. And you are doing late night after hours. Tell us what guests you've got lined up, what you're going to be doing.
Well, I'm hosting two friends of mine. So I'm hosting Paul Carenza, a stand-up comic. He's doing a set for us tonight. And also Paul Bell, who is familiar, both of them I'm sure, are familiar to Ground Level Network. They are two brilliant, humorous musician Paul Bell and comedian Paul Carenza. You're going to love it, so tune in.
Oh, brilliant. And what time's that on tonight?
From 10 until 11 o'clock.
10 o'clock. So get the comments flowing. We want loads of love for Tom. We're delighted that you're going to be with us.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be funny, isn't it?
It's going to be good. Hey, I'm just hosting, right? If I'm not funny, I'm just a host. So, but Paul and Paul are brilliant. So, yeah, tune in.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining with us. It's going to be a great time. Make sure you book in for the late night. Sorry, you don't even need to book in. Make sure you tune in online to the after hours. I'm going to pass back to the amazing Katie.
Wonderful. So I am joined once again by the wonderful Stuart Bell, and we are going to be having an interview next with the Varnadors, who are from Texas. So let's see what we have joining us on screen.
Yes, let's hope we can connect. Hi, James and Karen. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hey, Stuart. How are you?
Well, you're looking good.
Oh, can you not hear us?
We can, yes, we can hear you, we can hear you. I think Stuart's just struggling to hear you. But guys, great to have you with us. We love that you are with us this evening. And just tell us a little bit about yourselves. We would love to know who you are and where you're from. Just tell us a bit about you.
Well, I'm James, this is Karen, and we are pastors here at Rise Church in Decatur, Texas. And we've been pastors here for almost 10 years. So,
now, obviously, you're a long way away from us, and I thought it'd be kind of intriguing and interesting to ask you, how is it valuable for you both to connect in the way that you do with Ground Level? How's that work for you as individuals and as a church?
well, I think from an individual standpoint, what we decided was DNA mattered more to us than distance. So we were really wanting to be a part of something that was like-minded, that would help us grow and be able to invest in us in a way that we could broaden our scope of how we view the kingdom work and how we do what we do here as part of a larger kingdom. And so obviously having the relationships that we have, on that side of the world, which we're really fond of, has helped us to grow, and it's affected our body by giving us a different confidence in the way that we do ministry, by having a deeper view of what God is doing on a global aspect.
Great, and of course you also support Manchester United, I believe.
Yes, yes.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah, now, it's been a strange season, hasn't it? And are you doing services on Sundays? And if so, how's that going at the moment?
We do. We do 2 services on Sunday. We went from 1 to 2. So we had 10:30, now we're 9 and 10:30, and dividing the people and dividing our children. It's working great.
People have to get their ticket booked before they come to the service. Is that how you work it?
They do. They register online and we see who's coming and we prepare that way.
Great. And have you found that through the period, has the church sort of grown? How have people reacted and responded through some of that harder period?
You know, our people have been great all around with this. You know, we were only out of services for 10 weeks. We still have some of our most vulnerable that are not coming back just for the sake of wisdom. But overall, we were able to reach over that 10 weeks a few more people online. And we've had some people that have come in, but it's really just been trying to get everybody back into the swing of things. I would say currently we've probably got about 60% of the church back to live services.
Okay, you've still got connection with everybody?
Yes.
That's really great.
But we have new people coming that we didn't expect.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? I noticed behind you, the church looks a little bit different since I was there. You've been doing a lot of work on the building, haven't you? It's looking nice.
Yeah, quite a bit. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, look forward to having you be able to come preach in it again.
Yeah, well, those days of travel, let's hope they're not too far away.
Amen.
But what about the one event? Have you actually been to the one event?
We haven't been able to go to one event yet. We've been to Swanwick a few different times, but one event, this has actually been great that it's online.
Yeah.
Because we haven't been able to go because our children usually start school at this time of year.
Sure,
So.
and of course I've noticed that a number are connecting at the moment from the United States, which is great. And of course a little later tonight we've got Bishop Tony Miller, who's going to be sharing the word tonight. So our hopes are that it will get across America that Bishop Tony is preaching, and perhaps the one event's reach will go a little bit further. So it's really great to connect with you both. You're looking good, you're looking healthy. Your beard, actually, James, is a little shorter than last time I met. I guess, Karen, you spruced him up for the occasion. But it's really great that actually this new way of connecting online, there are no limits, are there, to being able to connect. And I know that we often have Zoom calls and keep connected and so on. But the world seems to be getting smaller, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, and it's just amazing, isn't it, to actually think that people can come in from America, that, I mean, you guys can spread the word, that Tony Miller, and, you know, it's just incredible to suddenly one event has gone global.
Yeah, and I saw Lawrence Neeson's name cropped up on one of the chats. So,
wow.
So he's watching from Oklahoma today as well, and I hope some of our friends across America are connecting right now.
Yeah, I love how God just, he changes things for the good, doesn't he? That's been one of your quotes time and time again over this season, that he takes something broken and he changes it for the good. And it's just incredible to see what he's doing through you guys and through one of them.
So Karen, how are the family doing?
The family's good.
Everybody's
Sebastian has
well?
started, everybody's well. Yes, school is on a roll.
And people are back at school and college now, or?
Yes, Sebastian started this week, and the high school and the elementaries are back in swing here in Decatur.
Great. Well, thanks so much for connecting with us. We're really blessed, and it does prove that networking needn't be restricted by geography. And actually, it's sometimes faster for me to get on an aeroplane and go to America than to get in a car and go to the south coast of England, which is amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
It's incredible. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us this evening. You can come in and watch the Big Top in a few moments, and we're going to hand over to Paul.
Hello, thank you so much, Katie. Yes, we are at the Big Top main session. We are counting down. We are very shortly starting our Big Top session. We've got the legend Paul Benja with us. What are you looking forward to, the Big Top tonight?
Well, we're not actually in a big top.
No, of course.
I'll mention that because somebody texted me today and said, are you actually doing this in the big
Big
top?
top.
You've set the big top up. No, but this is the Big Top session, and I'm looking forward. This is my 37th one event stroke grapevine.
Come on.
I only missed two. Missed the first one and then missed another one a few years later. But this is my 37. And every year in the Big Top, I've looked forward to the worship and I've looked forward to the presence of God touching my life, and I've also looked forward to God's word impacting me, and that's happened over all of those years. And so I'm really believing again that this year God is going to move in my life, but he's going to move in the lives of thousands of people who are watching right now.
That's so good. Well, we want you to connect with us. The Big Top is coming up very shortly. Get a quick cup of tea and then come and join us for our Big Top session starting very shortly. God bless you.